You know what I think is interesting? It was that the Giants doubled down. I always think about it this way. I wonder if everybody does. When you hear sports celebrities talk, are you thinking about it in terms of just face value? Or are you thinking about it in terms of it's been rehearsed a little bit?
Oh, it's a rehearsal. And I don't think that any message delivered by any front office or even any PR staff is the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. I think that there's always a little bit of either subterfuge or fibbing, overstating, secret messages, underlying meaning, all that stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I just think...
Except when Dave Roberts says, yeah, I talked to him. Right on, Dave.
I don't want to lie.
Yeah.
The rest of his team is like, lie!
Please.
Jeez. Anyway, I think these people know what they're doing.
Which ones?
All of them. They don't always execute. Like, talking to the media is no different than playing on the field. Sometimes you mess up. Sometimes the play doesn't go the way you thought it was going to go. Sometimes somebody asks you a question you weren't ready for. But I think that there are very good PR people. I think there are very good agents. I think that people who go do interviews and press availability are prepared with what they're probably going to be asked and how they want to answer it to best position their organization. So when Bob Melvin comes out yesterday, because this has been a big thing for Giants fans the last couple of years, everybody wants him to underpromise and overdeliver. And this is a huge phrase. It's literally, lovely Christy has tried to pound this into my brain ever since she and I met. Like, it's the words that she lives by. And she does a lot of stuff in the PR world. Underpromise, overdeliver. When you go the other way around, that's when people get mad. And Giants fans very much feel like it's been overpromise, underdeliver. My response to that is always like, I get the implication that there's been a promise, but there actually hasn't been. So when Farhan says, we are going to be involved in every conversation, when Juan Soto's going to get dealt, we're in there. When Aaron Judge is ready, Carlos Correa, we are going to shop at the top of the market.
Right.
And
right.
Giants fans walk away and go, they promised us a big free agent. And then it doesn't work out for all the reasons that all the guys didn't work out. A Giants fan, and I get it, is going to fairly walk away and go, I'm disappointed.
You feel duped.
Right. You promised me something. And the Giants are like, we didn't promise you anything. We tried, and nobody wants to hear that you tried.
It's like when I told my kids when they were younger, we're going to go to Disneyland, and I took them to the Disney store. And I said, hey, Disney, am I right? That's what being a Giants fan is like. It's like being my kid.
You didn't actually do that.
Of course I did. We eventually went to Disneyland. But they were 6 and 4.
I try so hard with the kids. Do you know how many times I hear, but Dad, you said, oh my God.
So you probably talk to them like Farhan, where, we're going to dine at the top of the market.
I'm like,
and then you take them to the actual market.
Every answer with maybe. It just comes out of my mouth before I even know what you're asking. Maybe, we might.
Under promise,
see
over
how
deliver.
It goes. These are the phrases I use. And then when it doesn't happen, Dad, you said, no, I didn't.
It was a maybe.
And then, yes, you did. And no, I didn't. Yes, you did.
Sure.
And everybody goes to their rooms. Anyway, point is.
Well, the perception of Farhan is more important than the reality of what he says.
Of course. And they know this, which is why I was so fascinated that Bob Melvin went on MLB Network yesterday. And again, to paraphrase, it's San Francisco's a star-driven town. It always has been. And that's why it's so exciting that we are shopping at the top of the market. And that's the plan. And we're in. And these are the guys we want. And it's going to resonate the same way to a Giants fan. Even though Bob didn't say, and I promise you we're going to get one.
Right.
He didn't do that. But that's what it feels like.
That's what it sounds like.
And a Giants fan doesn't want to hear that right now because they inherently are looking side-eyed at the organization going, I'll believe it when I see it.
Because we haven't seen it, and we've believed it in the past, and we haven't seen it. And so this whole past year after the Aaron Judge miss, and we can have this argument again over whether or not he was ever going to go anywhere but New York. The perception was the Giants were all in on Aaron Judge. And then they had Carlos Correa basically signed. I don't know if he actually ever signed the document, but it was a done deal.
In a hotel getting ready to go over to the press conference.
And then he didn't. The press conference didn't happen. That was a crazy day. You actually got mad that day. A rare Willard blow up. And,
remember
for the same reason what we're talking about here.
Risk averse.
Right.
That was the phrase that I used. Risk averse.
Well, you used a different phrase before the show, and then you dialed it back.
No, I did on the air too.
You said that they're chicken salad?
Yeah. Chicken bleep, yeah.
Yeah, chicken bleep.
Yeah.
Chicken salad's always it's a good way to.
I like chicken salad.
Yeah.
I had chicken salad for lunch.
It's delicious.
It was delicious. I feel spry right now.
Attaboy.
You know what I mean? Like I can get up and do some defensive slides or something.
All of those things, the Judge, the Bryce Harper, the chicken salad, Carlos Correa experience, it's all led Giants fans to be in a feeling of disbelief. And so to hear Bob Melvin double down and say we're shopping at the top of the market, it's drawing yawns, I think, from a lot of Giants fans because seeing is believing, and we haven't yet seen it.
Okay, totally fair. And maybe to you sometimes it's drawing yawns. I think there's a second thing that it's drawing from people also is almost like, dude, don't
say it.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that unless you're actually going to bring it home. So I found it really fascinating because as you and I always discuss, these people who are in Nashville at the winter meetings right now, they know a hell of a lot more than we do. They know where they stand with these players. They know what they're going to offer. They know what the agent is telling them. So you wonder if Bob Melvin is not speaking from a place of hope. He's speaking from a place of knowledge. Maybe he knows. The Giants are not in a position to lose again. They can't. And it is why here I am on the same side of the damn fence again.
Of course.
And I'll tell you, they're going to bring some people home this time. I don't mean
they brought some people home last time.
No, I don't mean no. I don't mean that. I mean 9-figure players. I mean 9-figure players.
Well, tell me who these players are. Tell me the pool of players, and you tell me if they're going to land one of these guys. So the biggest is Ohtani, and then you've got Yamamoto.
I think that they'll get him.
You've got the kid from Korea, who you were talking about yesterday.
Jung-Soo Kim. Yeah, center fielder.
You've got Bellinger.
Sure.
You've got Pete Alonso, who would have to be via trade.
Right. Juan
Soto appears to be off the market. They're finalizing the trade to send him to the Yankees.
Yeah, free agent.
He's going to be a 9-figure guy?
It might
probably,
be.
Yeah, he should be. Who else? Who else is out there that you would consider shopping at the top of the market?
Well, I think that there's a lot. That's where we get to the unknown. The only person we really knew was going to get traded was Juan Soto. I don't know who else is going to be traded.
There's the feeling that Pete Alonso will, but that's been hot and cold, though.
Yeah, maybe. But there are other players out there that can make you a better baseball team that aren't going to see. Here's the problem with Ohtani being on the market right now. The problem with Ohtani being on the market is the Giants could walk away with some other haul that's going to make them a much better baseball team. But if they don't get Ohtani, which they probably won't, then you walk away with a bridesmaid feel yet again. Like, what if they just get Yamamoto? What if they just get Yamamoto and, I don't know, Corbin Burns, the pitcher from Milwaukee, comes and they do sign Jung-Soo Kim and let's go. What if they do that? Are you going to walk out of here going, nice off season? But it might be. I mean, does Yamamoto do enough to get you excited if you don't get Ohtani?
No.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yamamoto might be the smarter buy.
Right.
5 years younger.
But if you walk out on the street and you say Yoshinobu Yamamoto, you're not going to get a lot of people saying, is he here? Where is he? Where is that sturdy right-hand pitcher who's won 3 straight Sawamura Awards, the Japanese version of the Cy Young? He's not enough of a known commodity among the casuals,
sure,
as we like to now call casual fans, to where that's going to make it feel like you won. Now, Shohei Ohtani, you know who that is. And even Pete Alonso, he's that home run derby guy who hits the ball 480 feet. I know who he is. I know Juan Soto. I know Blake Snell. So you're going to have to sell people on Yamamoto and just how good he is. And, Mark, once the season starts and you see a guy go 7 innings and give up 3 hits and 1 earned run, then you're going to start to get on board.
Did I say Jung Soo Lee or Jung
I think you did.
Jung Hoo Lee.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's kind of what we're getting at.
That's my point.
I don't even know. You know what I mean? And I listen, I get totally what you're saying.
Even Matt Chapman, I think, would be a bigger name.
Well, and he's
for
been here
Giants
before.
fans.
Sure, I get that. But Yamamoto, that's the second biggest free agent on the market.
I'm looking at Mark
100%.
Feinsand's list here.
Yeah, what's he got?
He's got Ohtani's 1, Yamamoto is 2.
No doubt.
He'll be posted by the Oryx Buffaloes this offseason, adding another intriguing arm to the free agent market.
Yeah, he's in his
this
window.
Is from a month ago.
He's halfway through his 30-day window.
Right.
He has got to be signed by Christmas.
He can immediately jump into the number 1 or 2 spot in a big league rotation. Potential fits: Dodgers, Mets, Red Sox.
Okay.
This is from a month ago.
Yep.
So this is just a top 25 list that I pulled up for the sake of the convo.
Giants been working on him for 2 years.
Right.
They've been working on him for 2 years.
And he wasn't posted, so you couldn't really sign him until now.
And I'm not saying they were alone, but
right.
I do believe they've positioned themselves well. I do. I believe that they have positioned themselves well for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and I also believe that their desperation means that they will not be outbid. And so there were rumors that this might be a $200 million deal. Might be 3.
Wow.
Might be 3 now. And the Giants have no choice but to go, okay, how about 3?
Yeah, and if that is what motivates him, if it's money, then maybe they end up landing him.
I mean, what else is there for free agents?
Winning.
Yeah, if you're 25.
Boom.
If you're
That's a bombshell I just dropped on you right there. The answer is winning.
You
can't win.
Yes, you can. If you're about to sign a 10-year deal at age 25, you're going to tell me you look at the Giants organization and say, can't do it over the next 10 years? I mean, you could argue.
I say might do it, but I look at 5 to 8 other organizations that are better poised, that have won more.
But how can you be poised over 10 years? You could be poised next year. You
right.
could be poised for the next 2.
Well, the Yankees have won pretty consistently over about 100 years.
Not really.
Well, of late they've
last
struggled.
Time they won the World Series.
They've won the most World Series.
They were worse than. I mean, they had a more disappointing season.
They did
than the Giants did last year.
But the Yankees, you would at least have a sense that they're going to be more aggressive in trying to get better after a bad year than the Giants will.
Listen, this is how I feel right now about where this is. It's not about what I believe they can do or will do. It's now what they have to do.
Fair.
This is why, as a Giant fan, you can find some optimism, I believe. They don't have a choice. This isn't about winning the World Series right now. This is about survival. This is about your brand. This is about marketing to an audience. And you are in a pivotal spot. And I don't say this with any sort of depth because I'm trying to be dramatic. They know this. They know this. This is not a choice anymore. Should we go after Bryce Harper? 310? What do you think about 330? This is, if Bryce Harper and the Phillies thing happened again this year, the Giants would go to 350 in a heartbeat. And Bryce Harper would have been of a Giant. You don't have a choice. You are disallowed from bringing back the same core as you left with 3 months ago.
Well, you've got 3 years to build this thing because Farhan got an extension and Bob Melvin's got a 3-year deal. So,
but you're talking about baseball. I'm not talking about baseball.
I'm talking about the organization.
I'm talking about butts and seats.
I'm talking about an owner who came out and said, basically to paraphrase, we're looking to break even. We're looking to make our nut down here at 3rd and King. That's what he said.
That was a little bit, yeah. He referenced it. Yes.
He referenced it, and I'm paraphrasing it and slanting it toward my side of the argument. But you have an owner who has not shown an overt recklessness that you would want to show, that you're saying, you're advocating that they can't lose out. And I think you're right in terms of baseball and marketing and a fan base that is slowly eroding in terms of interest level, but you've got an owner who doesn't want to spend at that level. He wants to break even, and you have a manager and a president of baseball ops who have 3 years to make this thing work. So I don't think the same level of desperation exists down there as it does in this room.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Well, we'll see.
I think they're freaking out. I think they're totally freaking out. That's what I think.
Well, they had better be,
yeah,
honestly.
I think they're totally freaking out, and you're right. Yes, they better be, and they have to be, and they know that. And it's not just about the standings this year. It is about competing. But
it's about the attendance.
It's about being interesting. And they have got – this is what I do like about it, and fans where you can feel good. They got the message now, okay? They've got the message. They really do. It doesn't mean they're going to go execute. I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to say yes. But the Giants fans have spoken, and the organization heard you. They heard you. Now, I don't know what they're going to go do next, but I always push back when people sort of go, we're powerless. No, you're not. No, you're not. I watched the Dodgers get sold because of fan behavior. So you have an effect by doing exactly what you're doing. I'm not going to the game,
sure.
Or I'm not watching the game, or I'm ticked off, or whatever. And the Giants know that and by the way, if I'm an agent, the Giants are a dream this year. They're a dream.
Because they're going to shovel cash at you.
They're going to drive up the price for everybody because they have to. Like, analysts were saying this about the Giants last year. It's why they did what they did for Correa, which you could argue was a massive overpay. But they did it because they knew. And then they got stuck into a spot where they were there was some discomfort around his health, and they bailed out. And so it's only a year worse. And so now you cannot come back to spring training without a story. They don't need a center fielder. They need a story.
Oh, they got a story.
What's their story?
Logan Webb. He's a good little pitcher, and he's from the organization. And Camilo Doval, great closer.
Yeah.
And you've got, about 7 other starters, and you got a new manager now. No more finely coiffed Gabe Kapler, who's off to Florida to be an assistant GM, which I found to be a stunning development when
I got promoted.
Yeah, in a different organization. It's crazy. Yeah. Florida Burger Reviews coming soon.
Gabe Kapler in Miami. Oh, God.
Yeah, watch out, South Beach.
Oh, my God.
It's a good place to bicycle, too.
That's
down
not
there.
bad.
Yeah, right down there. Get on the bike and ride down there in South Beach.
No doubt. BPA's on the line. Hey, BPA, did I get a Twitter follow from you this week? Is that what I saw?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a confirm. Gosh, you're so coy.
So I want to just tell you what the sum output of the Farhan Zaidi offseason is going to be. Can I give you a number?
Yeah.
0.0 will be the sum output of the Farhan Zaidi offseason.
Now, do you mean that financially? Do you mean that financially?
He's
or do
explaining. Let him eat.
Yeah, or do you mean that in the way of like how it will land with people?
If you're going to shop at the top end of the market, the reality is there's 6 to 8 other organizations, most of whom are better organizations, at least perception-wise, most of them than the Giants are. And they're going to have just as much money to spend or close. And the Giants are not going to close any of these top free agents. And by the way, last year, it was the same story last offseason. It's different now. They get it. They got to close one. He's not going to close one.
So BPA,
it's sort of like, I would say, I would relate it to the Warriors sort of before Lake Cut Bottom, right? Like, no one's coming, right? Like, the only solution to the Giants' problems is an ownership change. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, and that's fair. But BPA, could I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
Okay, so, and this is where most of my Giants conversations break down. This is where a lot of you listeners get mad at me. When you say that the perception of the Giants is blank, and you sort of described it as there's 7 or 8 teams out there that just have a flat-out better reputation and, quote-unquote, no one's coming. And I hear that everywhere. And I want to know exactly what you mean by that. In other words, Whose perception? Your perception, or do you believe that inside baseball, agents and players perceive the Giants to be a lesser entity as compared with other flagship franchises around the league?
I think most Giant fans think that, and I would say, why would it be any different for players and agents? It's not a good organization, right? Like, you fired the manager, but not the G. I mean, like, it's sort of like the Niners firing Chip Kelly, but not Trent Baalke, right? Like that. Yeah, I think I don't know why it'd be a whole lot different amongst players and agents if it's really not that much different with the fans.
Yeah, because it because it is, BPA, because the players and agents are looking at this through a completely different lens. They're not being burned by the fact that the Giants finished in fourth place. The money is green.
I think
the money is green. The weather is good. The history is there. The backing is there. In other words, this is one thing I always argue with, and I know he didn't end up playing with the Giants. But when we go, no one's coming. Well, Correa did. He said yes, and then the Giants backed out. So why did he say yes if, quote, no one's coming?
Do you think that the Giants backing out of that deal helps their brand at the top end of the free agent market?
I do not. I do not.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do either. So
no, I don't. But that's sort of now we're getting into a quirky result that the highest spending team in all of baseball did the exact same thing a few weeks later. I'm not trying to defend the way that played out. I'm just focusing on something you said that I hear everywhere. Quote, no one's coming. And my pushback to that is, I totally get why you feel that way, but I don't think baseball players feel the way Giants fans do. Maybe that's a better way of trying to say what I've been saying for the last 8 months or so,
Can I add one more point?
Of course.
Okay. Well, two. But, yeah, I think, yes, I think their money is green, and it's not fake, as long as there's no better option on the table for commensurate dollars. And I think in the top end of the market, Yamamoto, Lee, Ohtani, all these guys, there is going to be an alternative for free. I mean, would you compare the brand of the Yankees and the Giants as equal? They're not.
Well, no,
right?
but that's
any scenario.
But that's never been the case. There's no brand in baseball equal to the Yankees.
There are multiple suitors at the top end of the market, and the dollars are somewhat similar. The Giants aren't going to get the rose, as Bobby Evans said back in the day.
Yeah.
So I believe I'm a data-driven guy, and the data says Farhan won't close. And the minute he does close, then the data changes.
But
right?
but Correa saying yes. True. Correa saying yes doesn't change that point for you.
No,
they didn't close.
Because I think
but we're talking about the player. We're talking about the player now, not the team.
Right.
We're talking about Thank you, BPA. Thank you so much.
He was talking about Farhan closing, and that ultimately didn't get closed because the team backed out.
That's not what he was talking about. He's talking about the players. No one's coming. Like, no one wants the Giants' money.
Well, then he said about Farhan and the data will show that Farhan can't close until he does close, and then the data changes.
But if the data is I think the data that he's talking about is whether or not players who have similar offers from other brands would say yes to the Giants. It's not about whether or not Farhan can close it or hold a press conference. Like, that's the one thing I squabble with when I hear it constantly from Giants fans, is it feels to me like a lot of you fans think the Giants are the slums. And that's how it's
not the slums. They're not the elite.
Oh yeah, they are. Oh, God, yeah, they are.
Well, then why can't they bring in any free agents?
And that's where we get into the semantics of Correa, who did say yes.
Right.
The Giants then opted out